Why are male horror villains sometimes romanticized as tragic, seductive figures, while female villains are often portrayed as purely evil?
To this day.
You know, that's a good question. I think the males are more misunderstood, you know, but the females, something about them, you know, they just have that drive just to be pure evil.
Let him cook.
Yeah, boy.
And don't seem to care, like, who they hurt, what they do, as long as they get what they want in the end. Because the males, there's no winning with the females. I don't understand why.
We're gonna learn today.
It's complicated.
What is the difference between a male and female nerd?
Ooh, oh man, can I say whatever I want to say?
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna say boobs. Because we're all nerds, but girl nerds have boobs.
Well, the main difference is that a female nerd can actually get laid.
The girls are usually hotter and the guys like have a physical appearance of like mom's basement.
Why are nerdy men criticized for being awkward, while nerdy women are sometimes fetishized for the same behavior?
Well, nerdy men are nerds. And nerdy women are hot.
Yep.
Nerd men are awkward initially, but then I think that changes once you give them the time of day. Once they know there's an opening there, kind of like in my movie.
Why does financial success or career achievement redeem nerdy men in the dating world, but not always for nerdy women?
Why?
Well, the reason why financial success as a nerd attracts women is because women like money because they like to shop.
He is correct. Women are natural attention gatherers. Men, we have to gather attention. Get them. So we have to do things to great extent. And sometimes what we do to get attention is not really aligned with us. With women, you know, sooner or later, they know we're coming for them. He is correct.
There's part of us that needs someone who could provide fully for a while if we have a baby. So I think in some ways we need a guy who has money in case we are going to have a family with him.
You do.
Women would like a guy who can provide sometimes. Some women do, I think. So I think that's why that's a plus for men.
So is it really genuine attraction?
What is?
You stupid.
I mean, if a nerd has to kind of redeem himself with, you know, providing, is that really genuine attraction?
That's a good question. You know, who can say what goes on in people's hearts? Maybe it is sometimes, maybe it isn't. Maybe people seem like they're in love and they're not, or they seem like they're not and they are. You never know.
The f is he talking about?
I mean, if you're just looking for somebody for finances, no, obviously not. But if they've got other things going for them, then I think it could be part of the attraction.
Well, if nerds have to make a lot of money in order to have more options in the dating market, aren't they really just attracting the wrong people?
I think if someone only cares about your money, then they're not the right person for you.
Stupid.
Is seeking revenge in the form of dating outside their league a fair or healthy goal for overcoming past rejection?
I think, well, in a way, it's like you're fishing in a pond that's out of your league, but that's part of the attraction.
It's absolutely correct.
I think you should always reach above because I think we always sell ourselves short. And if you look at Revenge of the Nerds, in a way, as gorgeous as Ted McKinley was, you know, he wasn't that great of a boyfriend. Whereas you turn to Lewis, very like a great guy, smart, also very cute and very talented.
I beg your
ways.
pardon.
Do cultural stereotypes unfairly associate intelligence with physical unattractiveness?
Well, as any successful brainiac nerd can attest, a good brain is good for attracting the opposite sex.
You ain't got the answers, man.
Are intellectual interests undervalued compared to social or athletic traits in the dating world?
Well, intellectual prowess used to be not as interesting to the opposite sex as physical prowess. But now that we've seen what happens when a nerd puts his mind to it and makes a lot of money, it fixes a lot of things.
He is correct.
Why do narratives often celebrate nerds transforming themselves to fit conventional beauty standards instead of valuing them for who they are?
That's an excellent question. Yeah. Everything's totally backwards, right? You should just celebrate you for who you are.
Would that be comparable to body positivity?
Yeah, exactly.
Nope.
As kind of like Beauty and the Beast situation, you know, the nerd is geeky looking and then they turn into this like hunk. But I think that they should keep them the way that they are because nerds are nerds and nerds are amazing and nerds are beautiful.
I think it would be comparable to body shaming, but you know, there's some very fit nerds.
Has online dating leveled the playing field for nerds, or do traditional double standards still persist in virtual spaces?
I would say that online dating is an advantage to nerds because they can manipulate their image and fool the opposite sex.
Catfishing.
Catfishing, yes.
I just don't love the whole online dating thing initially because of that kind of superficial thing in general, because I think it is limiting. And I think for some kinds of guys, I know guys are very visual and I hear that, but I think for me it puts women at a little bit of a disadvantage because I think it's about, yes, you know, it's like about an attraction, but it's about an attraction to the person because hopefully you're going to do more than just go to bed with them.
Why do nerdy interests need to be justified as cool to be accepted while mainstream hobbies are immediately validated?
I think you answered the question with that question because if you're nerdy already, you're outside the zone, if you will, and so you're looked at differently. When you're inside the zone, you have a problem with nerds.
The reason that nerds are looked down upon is because they're seen as physically weak and they're introverted, right? And so our society values extroverts and doesn't really think about introverts as much. And what the truth really is that self-introspection is really super important. And again, that's where some of the greatest creative people have come from, is they're introverts, they're not necessarily extroverts.
That is correct.
Nerds are really, that is another word for outcasts. So they use nerds as the word they're using right now. It can be fat, it can be gay, it can be too large, it can be too talky. Whatever it is that makes you an outcast makes you less than. For lack of a better word. Me personally, I've learned the hard way. If you can find a connection with somebody, that in itself is hard. So stop judging, just get connected and enjoy the connection. How about that?
Who is more insecure, the alpha male who has to improve himself to fit societal pressures, or the nerd who embraces his identity regardless of societal pressures?
I think the alpha male.
Why?
Because he has to, one little slip and he's off the top of the mountain. He's always got to prove he's better at every angle.
Let him cook! The A alpha type, he has to keep up the illusion. Whereas the nerd is just, he's himself.
It's absolutely correct.
He can't mess up, he can't let the world see, so he's got all this pressure on him to either be better or stay the same, and in today's world that's hard to do.
That is correct.
I think right now you kind of see this alpha culture on the rise. So I'm sure right now they're probably going through it more. But with this alpha mentality, a lot of that is hatred. Hatred towards women, hatred towards men who are viewed as lesser than, which does include these nerdy men. So these alpha men definitely ridicule these people who are maybe more confident in the things that they love and enjoy.
That is incorrect. I'm sorry.
Why are we quick to label the nerdy guy insecure and the alpha guy confident when he has to continually maintain his persona due to his insecurity?
Yeah, I think it's actually backwards. I think these nerdy men are much more confident in themselves, where these alpha men are constantly trying to prove to other men, not even women, it's mostly men, that they're better than them. So it's definitely kind of in their own head that these men feel the need to go above and beyond to be these so-called alpha males.
You stupid.
When, you see, we're walking around now with all these amazing people, and these men are very confident in themselves, whether they're wearing makeup or costumes. I don't think you would ever see an alpha male in that situation.
What? I feel like as long as you're secure within yourself and what you like and know who you are, then it shouldn't matter if anybody else deems you insecure.
At what point is self-improvement based on insecurity?
When you're doing it for others.
Why do men care if other men are masculine or not? Do women care if other women are feminine or not?
No, and I don't know why men do. I don't give about what they are.
Well, guys, if I could still show you around, here is the biggest, gayest man in the world.
So gay. It's a toxic masculinity thing. I feel like women don't necessarily care if other women are feminine or not, but men have put this expectation on themselves and others to be masculine, and that's why they judge each other for it.
Stupid.
Who's a more effective soldier? The traditionally masculine alpha guy or a skinny computer nerd who flies drones really well?
The skinny nerd who flies drones really well because he's supplying air support for the A alpha soldier.
Oh, the alpha.
How so?
Because he's the guy that goes in there and gets it done. He's the guy that does all the groundwork and the footwork and stuff.
But can't the skinny computer nerd just take them all out with a drone strike?
He could, but it wouldn't be as action-packed. It wouldn't be as suspenseful.
There'd be lots of explosions.
Well, yeah, there'd be lots of explosions.
Why are women in horror movies often seen as damsels in distress, waiting for male protection, while men rarely face the same expectation of vulnerability?
Boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.
Because men are writing them and men are producing them and men are directing them.
You stupid.
I think that's in our nature, honestly. I really think it's in our nature that the woman is supposed to be that subservient, like, save me. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm old school. I dig that.
We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway.
Yes.
We're gonna do it anyway.
What?
We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah,
We're gonna do it anyway.